Hello and welcome to another episode of Garden to Table with Rose, and I am Rose. So it is April the 30th, and it looks like it's about to rain. It's pretty overcast, but I'm out here this morning trying to get a tour done before the tulips are all bloomed out and before it rains. So I'm standing here in the front and I'm going to try to keep this one brief. As you can see, my clematis is finally started climbing up the trellis here. I planted a new clematis, two different white varieties from what I had, which was Sweet Autumn. There's one down there. They're very tiny starts right now, and one down there, and hopefully they survive. As you can see, the hydrangeas are finally leafing out here. These two are oak leaves that are right by the trellis, and then next to those I have put a beauty berry, I think it was called, with the purple berries. I think I mentioned that one last time. So I have two of those. I have one there and I have one down there to mirror it, and one looks healthy. The other one, I don't know. The other one lost all its leaves, so we'll have to see. All of the fruit and nut trees seem to be leafing out. You can see those. I won't get into the details. Over here I did buy some rosemary, so there's one there, and then I put two over in the moon garden area, and this year I have to remember to dig those out at the end of the season and take them inside because they can't survive in my zone, and I want them to get pretty large like shrubs. So I planted just some extra annuals I had that needed to go into the ground over here. So there are a number of snapdragons in there, and Bupleurum from the shipment I got from Farmer Bailey. I got a number of plugs of Bupleurum and Lisianthus. So some of the Bupleurum is in here, and snapdragons that I started from seed. Everything seems to be doing well. You can see, but there are little pockets of white tulips that I put over here. This is a peach tree. We had some frost after the trees started to flower, so I don't know what effect that's going to have on them producing any fruit this year. We will see. The buds are still there, but obviously they don't look as vigorous as they did before, so I don't know. A lot of things are coming up that I thought was a goner, so I'm very excited about that. Even my Rose of Sharon tree has buds on it now. The hellebores are doing well because it's still cold. Our last frost date is between May 1st and May 15th. Average, we'll say May 7th. So, yeah, we've still been having some frost. And when it's not frost, it's raining. There's rain in the forecast for the next 5 days, I believe. So, lots of moisture, which is helping to wake things up for sure. But it makes it hard to get out and do anything if you have garden chores. But I get out when I can in between rain storms. It's drizzling now, actually dripping, so I'm gonna speed this up. My forsythia, all the yellow flowers are gone, and now it's just a green shrub. And then over there, it's hard to tell because it's intertwined kind of with the forsythia, is this little bitty peachy tree hydrangea. I did move the white hostas. I had a couple of these white hostas, and they were over in a bed over there that gets a lot of sun, and so I moved them over here to the shade. Let's see. I think I showed you these, my little potted shrubs over here. The pansies are the only flower that wants to bloom in such cold conditions. Those and the tulips and daffodils, which I didn't have very many daffodils this year. I don't have very many, period, but it didn't seem like, even the ones I had last year didn't seem to come up, most of them. The ones I had last year, most of those did not seem to come up, so I don't know what the deal is. I've ordered some daffodils, so I'm going to be putting in some more this fall. That is the red twig dogwood, just doing well. This stuff here, I love. It's so pretty. It has this limey green chartreusey color. That's a shrub, and it may be some kind of euphorbia. I can't remember the exact name of it. That over there is some St. John's wort. Like I said, I have 2 batches of it. I don't know. I think I got 2 batches of it. One there, but I'm going to pull some of it out because it spreads, I've noticed. Same with the yarrow. I like it because it's easy to grow and it makes a good cut flower. But man, it multiplies. So I got yarrow there. I got yarrow. And then there are little baby yarrows in between. Some that I planted because I had extras, and some just, they just reseeded themselves all over the place. So I did find out that this is a wallflower, and there's two. Now, oddly, I did not plant that this year. I planted this wallflower seed or seedling last spring, and nothing happened. It is, I read now, a biennial, so maybe that's why. But now here we are. I have two big shrubby bushes of it, and it's supposed to have yellow to orangish flowers. So we shall see what that looks like. I could use more orange over here and yellow. This is supposed to be kind of like primary colors over here, but it's a hodgepodge right now. You see all the yarrow, coral bells, different colors. I got some dark red ones and the green ones. The tulips will get pulled out once they're all done. Look at these fringe ones. That's pretty neat. I didn't know there were so many different kinds of tulips until I decided to plant them en masse. But I'm really loving the doubles, which are like these. The fringe ones are nice too. I don't have many of those. Yeah, there are so many different varieties though. I've already ordered some for this fall, but I may order a few more. Let's see, these are mini rose bushes over here. That's that Bosnian pine, which still seems to be doing well. The two maples seem okay. Nothing else to report over here. I got some peonies coming up again. Something I planted last spring that I thought had died, and lo and behold, here they are this year. I might have planted those too deeply. That was before I knew anything about peonies, and so I may have planted them too deeply. That might have been why it took an extra year. But that's what's going on there. And then you know what? I take that back. These are the beauty berries here on this side because I just put these in and all the leaves have died. Hopefully they'll survive. So I got two hydrangeas back here and they seem to be doing okay. Oh, let me go over here. The window boxes are still pretty bare. I haven't put out many pots or annuals because it is still cold and we're still having frost. I am worried about my corms. I planted all the anemone and ranunculus corms I had all the way through here, all the way through there. So I had a couple of hundred, and I didn't have the chance to pre-sprout them because the company sent them when they send them for my zone, and so it was time for them to go into the ground. I would have liked them a month earlier. So what I have done is I have ordered my ranunculus to arrive in the fall, because you can get it in the fall or the spring. So I ordered it to arrive in the fall, and then I will save it until late winter so that I can pre-sprout them. That seems like might be the best idea here. In the window boxes, there is still just the one evergreen sedum, and then I put lavender in there. I bought some starts, so there's lavender in there. And then I may have thrown a couple of annual little seedlings I had. I'm not sure what they are, but we'll see once they come up. Maybe I have a little sign. Forget-me-nots, yes. I remember now. I kind of was hoping they would maybe spill out over the edge. And they're kind of a bluish, so they should go well with the bluish purple of the lavender, I'm thinking. This is the juniper, Bloom Point juniper I got not too long ago. I do plan to make that into a topiary. Maybe a 2-ball or 3-ball. I'm not sure yet, but I probably will do a video when I make that topiary. I did tie up this other PG hydrangea because, like I said, one half of it was sheared off by the tree that fell on it twice. And that happened 2 times. And then there was just one side and it was laying down on the ground. So I decided to just kind of stake it up and try to train it upward so it could actually look more like a tree. Yeah, so hopefully. It was kind of hard to get it straightened out because it's very stiff. You know, it's a thicker twig, and so I didn't want to break it. So I just pulled it gently and tied it to a stake that I stuck down in here. And what I will do is I'll give it a week or so, and then I'll see if I can bend it a little bit straighter. But I don't want to break it because I'm trying to save it. These little boxwoods I got from Southern Living seem to be doing well. Of course, they can deal with the cold. Let's see, it's another little boxwood in that pot. Over here, I went and got a couple more of those Candy Tufts. These little white ones, they're just pretty. I love the little dainty flowers there. So I got like 2 more because I do like getting things in 3s. That was an impulse buy, the first one, and I didn't want to spend the money to buy 3, so I just got 1. But I went back and got the other 2 more. Everything over here seems to be doing okay. I did pull out a lot of tulips that were here from 2 years ago, and most of them were just leaves. You know, tulips don't perennialize well here, so most of it was just leaves. The ones that had flowers, the flowers were very, very tiny. So I pulled as much of that out that I could identify. Hopefully I didn't pull out things that were not tulips, but tulips do have a distinct leaf, so I'm hoping it was just tulips that I pulled out. My apple trees, of course, have leafed out here. There are 3 apple trees. Let's see. Oh yeah, everything seems to be growing as it should. I don't have anything extra to add about this section. There's one of the rosemaries that I added, and then I added another one over there. And so yeah, I'll be digging all of those up and taking them in and putting them in my grow tent. My goal here is to plant some kind of ground cover between these little pavers that I stuck in here. I do have some that I'm already growing, some alyssum, and I think it's creeping thyme that I have from seed. So when those get a little bit bigger, I'm going to transplant them out here. But right now, they don't have true leaves yet. But hopefully they'll take, and then I can have this nice kind of green ground cover growing in between those pavers. I think that would look nice. Now here is where I put all the Lisianthus and the Bupleurum. This is kind of annual row right here. So let me get a little bit closer here. They're very tiny. They're starts that I ordered, plugs, in the mail from Farmer Bailey. And they come in, I don't even know how many I got, hundreds. There were hundreds because I think I got 2 different mixes of the Lisianthus, and each tray is 210 or something like that. And then a tray of the Bupleurum, and I don't know if that was 210, but you know, they have set sizes. So that is what I've planted here. I put the Bupleurum in the back because it gets taller. So it's kind of in the back row. And then all of the Lisianthus is in the front. I did finally, I'm very happy to say, let me see if I can get over there, got my Julia Child rose that I have been wanting for a couple of years. It's a yellow rose. I love Julia Child on top of that, so I'm very happy that I was able to get one. The hydrangeas over here are filling in slowly but surely. They're getting leaves. The roses mostly all have leaves except for the ones I just planted, like that Julia Child. This one, Camelot Rose, is a salmon color. It does have some new growth on it, so it's not dead. I just planted that one. And what else I got going on over here? This azalea, pink reblooming azalea right there. It looks like it was dead when one of the frosts came after I transplanted it, but I see some healthy leaves, so maybe that one's going to be okay. I think the one in the back actually died. I had a white one that I put in the backyard, but I don't think that one made it. So bugleweed over there. I got a lavender over in there. And then all the way around here, you can see there's even more of the Lisianthus and the Bupleurum. And then there are snapdragons right in the center. And then the only other thing here is my tree. This is the wisteria, weeping wisteria. It has a weeping habit. It doesn't get as big as some of the other ones, so it should have some pretty purple blooms one day. So I planted it. It was a bare root, and then cut it down to knee length, which is what I do with most bare roots. And so hopefully it will grow. I don't see any signs of life yet, but we will see. What else I have over here? There's just one hydrangea over there, and then there's one over there, and they're two different varieties. I couldn't tell you which ones. I did have a mock orange in here that was right there, and I moved that to the backyard because I didn't want it to be too crowded here. So I'm gonna figure out a new place for that. I may plant that somewhere in the back. And then I just had a couple of little purple alyssums that were ready to go outside, so I threw those in there. They're actually quite pretty, little dainty ground cover type flower. My yew, which I was so worried about, is like growing some leaves, but they're randomly spaced. I don't know if you can see that. It lost all of its leaves, and there's a lot of new growth at the bottom here. But yeah, I think the shock of the winter was too much because it was its first winter, but it seems to be bouncing back, thank goodness. And then over here I have I believe a snowball viburnum, and then another hydrangea, and the tulips. That's why I brought you out here. Now, unfortunately, tulips close when it's cold, and they cold for them, and they close at night. So they're all closed right now. When the sun comes up, they will open up fully, and this one's kind of open. I don't know if you could see that. That's one of the doubles. But yeah, so you don't really get a good sense of how beautiful they are until they open all the way up. Unfortunately, it's hard to film out here in the middle of the day because the sun just creates all kinds of shadows and glare when you try to film during daylight, you know, and also the noise from neighbors and cars is a lot worse as the day goes on. So I try to come out here early in the morning, but I really just wanted you to see these tulips before they were gone. This is the Beaujolais mix from Color Blends. It was my first time ordering from them. I got 500 bulbs from them in this mix. They're beautiful, absolutely stunning. There's even one parrot. I must have accidentally gotten the mix because there's only one parrot tulip. It's like yellow and green, very pretty. But I've picked several dozens. I pick every week and take tulips inside the house, and I've given some away, and yeah, and still have all of these. So I planted a total of about 700. So I had a bunch of white ones. I got that white blend that I put over there, and I put some in the back. And then I had tulips that came back in the back from last year. Some of them actually came back pretty well, so I'm not sure what variety that was, if that's one that's more likely to perennialize. There were some red and pink ones in the back came back strong, as tall as they were before. Not so much look at this. I was told by my neighbor that she sees bunnies in my yard all the time, so I don't know. I found some bulbs up out of the ground, like uprooted some of my tulips. So I don't know if they're digging, squirrels, something. But yeah, that's not good. So that's how the front is coming along. My sedum over there on the other side is still doing well. I did bring out a couple of pots with geraniums because they needed to get out of the trays because they were getting pretty big. So I do have a couple of pots with those in there. I bought out my fountain, but it's not hooked up because, like I said, we're still having frost and it's ceramic. So I'm gonna wait a week or two before I hook that up. And then I'm waiting to bring out annuals for these other pots. I have a couple pots there. I have the 2 pots on the porch. I need to put something else in those window boxes. This is full of Lisianthus. So I had carrots in here and only a few of them came up, and I'm leaving them because carrots take a long time for me. I thinned them, but there's only a few carrots. There's maybe like 20. So I put the excess Lisianthus in here. So I have my one lone onion that decided to volunteer from last year. So that's what I got going on over here. So not much new. I just wanted you to kind of see what's going on. and to see the tulips. The daffodils are of course on their way out. I've been deadheading, need some more deadheading, but those white ones are beautiful. I really like those. And that apple tree has blossoms on it. This one, ooh, pretty. This other, the last apple tree is slow, which is odd, given that they're all in the same area. But this one, it does have some leaves at the top, so I don't think it's dead. And it has buds all over it. It's just that it's not growing any leaves or anything, so we'll see what happens with that. And that is all I have for today. I'm going to keep it brief because now there's traffic moving on the road. Next tour I'll do will be the backyard. I haven't done that yet this season. I've been working to get it put together. I've transformed it a little bit because I'm doing a cut flower garden now instead of all vegetables. So I've been, changing up some things. Doing my usual weeding. A lot of things are planted back there. Actually, my cool weather flowers, the hardy annuals, a lot of those are already planted. I had to put in like support netting, so all of that is done. I've planted a lot of shrubs back there because that's going to be where I plant all of the shrubs that I will be using for cuttings. So for the cut flower bouquets, there are, beautiful shrubs, flowering shrubs that you can use as filler. So all of those are pretty much going in the back because this is pretty much full unless I expand these beds, which I'm not going to do this year. I just expanded that section there. So I do it incrementally because it's just me. So each year I add on a little bit to each bed. So by the end, my goal is not to have a lot of grass, actually, just a little bit of grass. I'm not into the mowing of the grass, but yeah, so they get bigger as the years go on. I will sometime this summer, before the end of the season, in the front of the house, the very front, closer to the street, I am actually going to plant salvia, Russian sage, that kind of thing there. They're drought tolerant, they're pretty. I think it'll give me that cottagey vibe I'm going for. Once they're full grown. Now I'm growing these from seed, so they're very tiny, so that's why I say the end of the season, because I'm going to grow them in pots until they're of a decent size before I put them in the ground. And because they were so inexpensive, I'm growing them from seed. The seed was inexpensive. I'm not really worried about them being out there because I anticipate out closer to the street they could get run over by somebody who's driving or parking in front of the house. Sometimes the neighbors, visitors will park in front and they kind of park on the grass a little bit. Now I'm going to put them back, not right at the street, but still, the snow plows, the stuff, throwing snow up on the sides, that may destroy them. Who knows? But they're easy to replace, inexpensive to grow, and I think it will really add something to this whole picture here, to the house, to the landscaping. So that's what I am going to do. And that is all I have for today. Hopefully I touched on everything. You all have a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you in May. Bye-bye.